citizens of place make me such a beautiful place for worshipping. And then I would like to greet Dr. Sheila Nattaniji. She recited beautifully now. And my friend Shri Ganesh Ramachandran, Chairman of the Board of Trustees, and all the executive committee members and of the Hindu Society of Central Florida. And I'm very happy to be here on the 25th anniversary of this great occasion. Friends, I am indeed delighted to participate in the Gandhi Jayanti celebration in this serene environment of Orlando, which is nicknamed the City of Beautiful. It's a beautiful. It is. And the symbol of the foundation, founded at the lake Yola, my greetings to all of you. While I am in this setting of a divine environment, I see a lot of young people. How many students are there? Lift your hand. All the students. All the students. Lift your hand. All the students. So I have to say something for the students, okay? The parents, okay? Well, friends, I am reminded of a mother's advice to the son at the age 9 years. The famous advice is given by Mother of Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi, which transformed him into Mahatma Gandhi. The advice is like this. Mother gives the advice to her son. Remember, all of you sons and daughters, you are getting advice from your mother. The advice was, son, in your entire lifetime, if you can save or better someone's life, your birth as a human being and your life is a success, you have the blessing of the Almighty God. This is the advice Mahatma Gandhi got. Gandhi got it when he was 9 years old from his mother. This advice was fresh in the memory of Gandhiji, and throughout of his life, he was keen to save our better societies and multiple nations and be a role model for giving and giving. What one thing which made him to fly? What one thing made him to fly across India and South Africa and freed millions of people from the British Raj? And he had such a wings of flight to do such a great mission. Would you, all of you, would all the young people, preferably all the students, will all of you have such wings to fly yourself to achieve great mission in your life? Then you can all repeat with me. Are you ready? Ready? Yes? All of you repeat? I am born with potential. I am born with goodness and trust. I am born with ideas and dreams. I am born with greatness. I am born with confidence. I am born with wings. I am born with wings. So, I am not meant for crawling because I have wings. I will fly. I will fly. I will fly. How many of you want to fly? Now, dear friends, how does achievement come from? Mahatma Gandhi is a millennium leader of 20th century. For the whole century, he is a millennium leader. If you ask him how did he achieve, how the achievement has come from, where from it come from, there are 4 proven steps. Having an aim in life, having a great aim in life. Number 1, what is that? Great aim in life. Number two, of course, you have to continuously acquire the knowledge. Acquire the knowledge from great books, great human beings, and great teachers. Third one, of course, you have to sweat, the hard work and hard work, hard work. Fourth one was called perseverance. That means you will not be afraid of the problem, defeat the problem, succeed. So to achieve in life, to the great height, to reach the great height, you want to fly to the great height, you have to need four qualities. What are the four? Number one?
Great aim.
Great aim. You have to carefully hear me. Great aim. Number two, continuously acquire the knowledge. Okay. Number three, hard work. Number four, perseverance. Okay. Now tell me, to achieve and reach the highest height, what you should have? Number one?
Great aim.
Great aim. Small aims are right. The second one? Acquire the knowledge. That's very important. Acquire the knowledge. Third one? Hard work.
Hard work.
Fourth one? Perseverance. That means any work you do, some problem will be there. Problem should not become your master. You should become the master of the problem, defeat the problem and succeed. Okay? So, friends, today I would like to share few thoughts on the topic tolerance is the foundation of a peaceful society. Since this is the one student community I addressed, now students, parents I am addressing now, and also other important personnel. That is, tolerance is the foundation of peaceful society. That's a topic I am going to talk to you next time. Friends, my personal experience about Gandhiji goes back to 2004 when I was visiting South Africa to address the South African Parliament and the Pan-African Parliament with 53 members. At that time I was the president. One of the program organized during my visit included travel from Durban to Pietersburg. This visit of mine was simulated as it happened in 1893 when Mahatma Gandhi traveled from Durban to Pietersburg in a train hauled by a steam engine. Same type of train they gave me, so I was traveling. It was from Durban station that Mahatma embarked on a fateful journey that in later years he regarded as having changed the course of his life. And he boarded the train on 7th June, Mahatma Gandhiji boarded on the train on 7th June 1893 in order to travel to Pretoria where he was due to meet a legal client. A first-class seat was booked for him. The train reached Pietermaritzburg station at about 9 p.m. A white passenger entering the compartment could not stomach a colored person traveling with him. So he went out and returned with two officials who ordered Gandhiji to move to the van compartment. Van compartment is second class. Later, a white constable was called who took Gandhiji by hand and pushed him out of the train. His luggage was also taken out and the train continued its journey without him. Gandhiji spent the night in the waiting room and although his overcoat was in the luggage, Gandhi did not ask for it, fearing further insult. When I alighted at the Pietermaritzburg railway station, I saw a flag in the railway station which reads like this. In the vicinity of this flag, M.K. Gandhi was evicted from the first class compartment on the night of 7th June 1893. This incident changed the course of his life. He took up the fight against racial oppression. His active non-violence started from that day, 1893. Now, while looking at that flame, I visualized what type of feeling and thoughts would have progressed in the mind of Gandhiji on that fateful day of eviction. Gandhiji was in the Pietermaritzburg railway station from 9 p.m. to 6 a.m. During this period, multiple thoughts were racing in the mind of Gandhiji. Between 9 p.m. On 12 p.m., one of the thoughts was taking shape was, I must punish the oppressors. One thought came to him, I must punish the oppressors. Then during 12 midnight to 3 a.m., the second thought came, which directed, I should leave South Africa and now practice, go back to India and lead a happy life. Now between 3 a.m., between 3 a.m. and 6 a.m., the third wave of thoughts emerged, which led to a great decision. What can I do to Africa? What can I do to Africa to remove apartheid, by removing the apartheid system using the lessons of Peter Marty's birth? That is how 7th June 1893, the seeding of Satyagraha movement took place, which finally led India to realize its freedom. Understood, friends? All of you understood? That is a very important day. Now, power of non-violence movement. Modern writers have brought out beautifully as the science of non-violence propagated by Mahatma Gandhi. After the end of First World War, everyone was convinced about the power of a brute force. To counter this, Mahatma Gandhi had written an article, The Doctrine of the Sword. So it's a classic article, The Doctrine of the Sword, to explain to doubting Indians and also Britishers who doubted Mahatma Gandhi's true motive behind starting the non-cooperative movement, that the sword of non-violence was more powerful, sword of non-violence more powerful than the sword of violence. Mahatma Gandhi says, the religion of Mahatma Gandhi says, the religion of non-violence is not meant merely for the rishis and the saints. It is meant for the common man as well. Strength does not come from the physical capacity. It comes from the indomitable will. I have therefore ventured to place before India the ancient law of self-sacrifice. Non-violence is the law of the species and violence is the law of the brute. The spirit lies dormant in the brute and he knows no law but that of a physical mind. Now when I was reading again and again certain chapters in the book of Music of Spinning Wheels, it's my friend has introduced Sujindra Kulkarni in a book, The Music of the Spinning Wheels. I realized that the analysis and conclusion visualized by the author brings out great works lead to what we have learned in the past. What we are learning is present and what we need to learn in the future. Particularly, I would like to comment on the modern writers on saving of labor, how it can present loss of job to the person in the bottom of the pyramid. The saving of labor individual should be the object and not human greed and motive. Thus, for instance, Gandhi says, I would welcome any day a machine to straighten a crook to spindles. Not that blacksmiths will cease to make spindles. They will continue to provide spindles. But when the spindle goes wrong, every spinner will have a machine to get it straight. Therefore, replace greed by love. Therefore, replace greed by love and everything will be right. This is what Gandhi said. Now the message of Mahatma Gandhi is beautifully brought in this book. We see today how a handheld mobile telephone can help the milk vendor in India, the paper boy, the auto rickshaw driver, homemaker to improve their productivity and navigate their time better. Technology is helping everyone and every sector. I remember reading about Sir C.V. Raman and how it took him more than 1 month to get a single research paper from abroad in 1930s. And the paper had to be traveled from library to another via horse-cart, ships and messengers. That's how it took 1 month. Today, the high bandwidth internet, the same paper or even thousands of papers can be electronically transferred from one research laboratory to anywhere in the world in the time it takes to make mouse click, just to take the time of mouse click. Today with all the modern electronic communications, we can have all the information in the world at the convenience of a single mobile phone. I am inspired to know that how in 1920s, when mobile phones were not even a dream, telephones were products of awe and amazement, when human and animal power transport was the order of the day, when a foreign government's repressive, one individual was able to communicate with the entire nation, India, enlighten them and mobilize them as one entity over a common agenda of free India. Hence, what Gandhiji teaches us, that a leader lives in the hearts of the people, who become his voice in every corner of the country. This is the message for the world leaders from a few states. Gandhiji, even with his limited communication channel, even while in house arrest, he stood for a complete personal transparency. Today we are seeing a different time when the global leadership, while having all the opportunity to use the modern technology to be transparent and open, is a way of using them to connect to its people. This is the lesson we have to learn from Gandhiji. Now friends, since a lot of children are there, a lot of mothers are there, wives are there, and all the experienced people are there, while talking about habit, I am reminded of my meeting with granddaughter, Mrs. Sumitra Kulkarni of Mahatma Gandhi. Her grandfather, when she was personally witnessed a scene, she has informed me when she visited hospital. Mrs. Sumitra Kulkarni said, each day, as you all aware, Mahatma Gandhi used to have a prayer meeting at a fixed time in the evening. After the prayer, there will be a collection of a voluntary gift for Harijan welfare. The devotees of Gandhiji used to collect whatever given by the people of the section, and this collection counted by supporting staff of Gandhiji family. The amount so collected will be informed to Gandhiji before his dinner every day. The next day, a bankman will come for taking his money. Once the bankman reported that there was a discrepancy of the few paisa in the money given to him and the money collected, Mahatma Gandhi, on hearing this, went on a fast, telling that this is a donation for the poor and we have no business to lose even a paisa or a cent. This was the habit of Mahatma Gandhi. I am sure all of us witnessing this scene, and we will practice this noble habit on our day-to-day transaction, which will not only be a great tribute to Gandhiji, but also help us shaping our destiny of the nations. Similarly, there were many instances of compassion, humility, harmony, and respect practiced by Mahatma Gandhiji in his day-to-day transactions, which should be emulated by all of us for transforming India into a noble nation with a basic foundation of righteousness in the heart. Our people can live in a green, clean environment without pollution. Our people can live in a green, clean environment without pollution, having prosperity without poverty, a peace without fear of war, and a happy place to live for all citizens of the nation. India can become model state for the evolution of a noble society in that time. Now friends, we are all in a beautiful environment, the environment of creativity and knowledge with philosophy of what can I do and what can I do. I am happy to meet all of you along with your family. Dear friend, recently a friend of mine who is a life science scientist sent me a book. Name of the book, Biology of Beliefs by Dr. Bruce Lipton. Biology of Beliefs by Dr. Bruce Lipton. Every doctor should believe it. And every family head also should believe it. The author is one of the greatest scientists in the bioscience. After 20 years of research, he attributes the origin of human diseases and their cure have a basis of intense thinking and the relationship with our biocells. The book talks about a new approach which highlights the importance of a placebo effect, how it is actually a powerful belief effect. The author says doctors should not regard the power of belief as something inferior to the power of chemicals and the scalpel. They should let go of the belief that the body and its parts are essentially stupid. This is what the author says. Then important thing comes. Mahatma Gandhi, he says, Mahatma Gandhi had enumerated in one of his works how thoughts build destiny. He quotes Mahatma Gandhi. What Mahatma Gandhi said on beliefs. Your beliefs become your thoughts. The other quotes Mahatma Gandhi, his latest book. Your beliefs become your thoughts. Your thoughts become your words. Your words become your actions. Your actions become your habits. And your habits become your values. Your values become your destiny. Also all his life, Mahatma Gandhi nurtured his health with pure vegetarianism diet and goat's milk and hardly took any medicine. Now friends, man becomes what he thinks about. Recently I was reading a book about the real story of Maurice Goodman. How many of you know Maurice Goodman? Have you heard about Maurice Goodman? Then I will tell you. Maurice Goodman is an author and an international speaker. I was inspired to read about him. How mind, the body combined way resulted in a new life mission. Maurice Goodman was crushed in an aeroplane crash on March 10, 1981, and he was completely paralyzed. His spinal cord was crushed. First and second cervical vertebrae were broken, and his following reflex was destroyed, and he could not eat or drink, and his diaphragm was destroyed. He could not breathe. All he could do was blink his eyes. The doctors, of course, said that he will be a vegetable for the rest of his life. Doctors gave a certificate, he cannot recover. That is the picture they saw of him. The doctors saw the picture as they saw the disease. But it did not matter what they thought. The main thing was what Maurice Goodman himself thought. He pictured himself being a normal person again, walking out of the hospital. He had to work within the hospital with his mind. He says, once you have your mind, you can put things back together again. He was hooked together to a respirator, and doctor said he will never breathe on his own again because his diaphragm was destroyed. But little voice kept telling Goodman, breathe deeply, and finally he was released from the respirator. Doctors were at a loss for an explanation. Maurice could not afford to allow anything to come into mind that would distract from his own or from his mission. He had set a goal. He set a goal to walk out of the hospital on Christmas Day, and he did it. Now doctor said it could not be done. He walked out of the hospital on his own 2 feet. That's the day he would never forget. The message Maurice Goodman used to a word in 6 words. He said, man becomes what he thinks about. This is the philosophy what Mahatma Gandhi was practicing and teaching throughout his life. Now friends, in conclusion, tolerance is the foundation of a peaceful society. Friends, it would be appropriate to have introspection by all of us about the social awakening needed for a national and international development. Every civilized society exists not for day to day, but lives with a clear perception for the future and the generation to come. Such a situation would presuppose that each individual in such a society would cherish and translate into practice noble ideas of constructive tolerance, positive fellow feelings, and a total commitment to live and let live. Albert Einstein would not have expressed this better when he said, laws alone cannot secure freedom of expression. In order that every man present his views without penalty, there must be spirit of tolerance in the entire population. We have to evolve. We have to evolve a society that will respect differences and celebrate differences, as was practiced by Mahatma Gandhi in all his actions. What are the various histories of tolerance? Tolerance for people, tolerance for people's culture, tolerance for people's belief system, and tolerance for people's strength. In fact, such an attitude, be it that of an individual or collection of them or the society, is a hallmark of civilization. And that is what characterizes the differentiate life from the sheer existence. Honesty and integrity, both in thought and action, independence and interdependence in their wholesome and positive manifestation, tolerance for people's ideas, action and thought, distinguish a civilized society in a true sense. It is for such individuals to strive to inculcate these eternal values in him and her, and that alone would be the surest path and unfailing guarantee for a civilized society of this world in future. Let the world citizen learn the great values taught by Mahatma Gandhi over 6 decades ago and practice them in their life for promoting an economically prosperous, peaceful and safe society, as we say by Gandhi. My best wishes to all of you. May God bless you all.